There's nothing I hate more than scuff marks on a wall. Scuff X delivers superior scuff resistance in the most challenging, high-traffic commercial environments, thanks to its patent-pending scuff-resistant technology. Yes, there's people in a lab somewhere thinking about how to keep scuffs off walls. Where we're running around like crazy, there are actually scientists trying to figure this stuff out, and no one's done it better than Scuff X. I would not endorse this product if I didn't believe in this product. As a hotelier, it is so important to solve this problem because we spend so much money, so much time on painting hotel rooms that we finally found the solution. And I don't think anyone does it better than Scuff X. The high-performance Scuff X latex paint reduces the need for touch-ups, repaints, offers significant savings on long-term maintenance costs. And for all the information you need, go to benjaminmoore.com.
It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn, teaching you to be the hotelier that you wanna be. It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn.
Anthony, my man.
We're wearing the same outfit today.
We are, and the funny thing is we didn't even coordinate it, but it's good to see that you and I are both so aligned in the way that we look at the universe that it comes out in our sartorial choices.
I'm wearing jeans, and I don't like wearing jeans.
And I'm wearing jeans because I thought it would be uncool to come to a fancy hotel that we're sitting at in a pair of shorts.
Yeah, I was actually had my shorts on from the gym this morning. I have them in the car, and I almost put them on. I almost brought them with me just to put them on because I just don't like jeans, man. I wear jeans. Well, actually, I was wearing jeans last year. My daughter said, first time I ever seen you in jeans. But I couldn't find any clean clothes, and I didn't want to put any suit pants on, and I couldn't find my regular pants that I usually wear when I'm doing something like this. So I'm wearing my uncomfortable jeans. So the entire podcast I'm going to be annoyed.
Well, that's fine. I'm always a little uncomfortable when I'm with you, so it's good that you get that same kind of feeling.
Well, actually, I'm in a good mood, Glenn.
I'm in a really good mood today.
What are we talking about?
As well. I want to talk to you, Anthony. I want to go back to that first season of Hotel Impossible. I want to get into your mind.
Was that 1927?
It felt like it. It was only 2012 that this particular show aired, though you probably filmed it a year.
And when you
told
me that you looked at a show this morning and you wanted to talk about it, you said that I looked a lot younger 5 years ago, 7 years ago.
It was 7 years ago, but that is only because you made yourself up to look a little bit older than normal today. Because you're again, I love that you're coming along to my side. You're wearing jeans and you're horrifically unshaven today.
That's horrifically unshaven, and my beard is as white as yours.
I know. I thought that was my purview. So I'm feeling. I don't know whether or not to feel excited that you're trying to don my look here today, or a little hurt by the whole thing.
Well, when you go to church and you go to confession, the priest asks you, tell me your sins. And I said, well, one of my sins is that I want to be like Glenn, and I'm afraid to tell him. And it's like, and he said, well, that is a great sin. And I said, why, Father? And he said, because you can never be like Glenn.
Right. Well,
why would you do that to yourself and lie to yourself?
Right. Why? You don't want to wallow down here at my level. Stay where you are, man.
So is it a good show that we're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot all
about
show? That. I got. I'm just so distracted by that gorgeous, incredible gray beard that you have over there.
It's kind of white, right?
It made me forget all about the Ocean Manor Resort, which is featured in Season 1, Episode 5, to me. And what a great place and location that hotel had. It was shocking to me that it was in such a horrible location. Going back into 1995, man, that's old. Going back to 2012 in terms of ADR, that's the average daily rate. They were only getting about $95 when other hotels in the area were getting hundreds of dollars a night. So they were hurting. They weren't making any money. And it seemed like nobody at this particular property was educated about how to run a hotel, had any understanding of running a hotel, even though a lot of folks in there seem to have worked in hotels for a long time.
Yeah, it seemed, and we only learned this after the show while we were walking out, it seemed like he was running a lot of different businesses in that hotel.
This did not come through on the show.
it didn't come through on the show because we didn't realize it until after. But his number one priority was the bar. Now, the reason
the tiki bar out on the water?
The tiki bar on the water, the reason it was his number one priority because it was the only tiki bar or any bar on the Fort Lauderdale beach strip that is allowed that close to the ocean. So it's somehow grandfathered in. He has the only license permit to do it. So you go to any other bar, it's usually kind of like a hotel bar at the pool where the beach is like 100 yards away. You can see it and smell it and sense it, but you're not on the beach. This tiki bar is on the beach.
Yeah.
And he did really amazing cash business, and that was his focus. And it was it's a cool bar. But actually, I think Bar Rescue was there right after or right after me. Yeah, Bar Rescue went in right after me. Yeah, and I don't know how well that went.
I don't know if that guy is a genius or what to have all of the resources coming to help him out for free.
Yeah, I don't know, but and I think it went really well. I don't know. I think he liked that host maybe even better than me. Maybe they get along better. I don't know, but
I know I do.
And so it was a very interesting hotel. There's three things that stand out, and we'll talk about the third thing a little bit later. But the two things that stand out is one. Actually, that was the show I realized I need to wear suits.
Yeah, because you were wearing a polo-like shirt in one or two of the scenes of the show.
No, but I'm saying show up in a suit.
Yeah.
And it took me the first couple of shows to figure out what I should wear.
Right.
Because I really felt I should wear my suit, but it was always hot, and I didn't know if it was the right outfit. So that was the show that when I saw the rough cut, I was like, okay, the suit is it.
Right.
The suit cleans everything up. The suit makes me a kind of... And for lack of a better term, elevates me above the crowd.
I was about to say, it becomes you more of an authority figure, so people are psychologically primed to take you more seriously.
And also, we lost a producer on that show that I really, really liked because we
did you check the
scene,
tiki bar? Maybe he just stayed there.
No, she was very good. I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
Young producer. I've watched the credits on LinkedIn, and she's gone on to do some great shows. But there was a scene... is there one scene that stands out to you in that show?
There's one scene that I thought was really, really effective to me. I'm curious if we're thinking it's the same scene.
Probably.
Maybe. We'll find out. It seemed to me that this particular owner was unwilling or had no idea that he was part of the problem. And he spent a lot of time casting blame on everyone else. The end result was a property that ranked number 276 of 279 hotels in the area at that time. And you couldn't get him to understand the significance of that until you took out 279 pennies, threw them down on the table, and was like, yeah, your hotel is under here. They have to look through one hotel, two hotel, each time pushing a penny across the table, and I found that to be a great visually effective way to show this guy that he was really clueless about how to operate a hotel and he needed to get his act in order. Was that the scene that you were thinking of?
Was that what?
Well, the scene that you were just thinking
No,
of.
but I actually forgotten about that scene. I'll tell you the backstory of that scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very effective scene.
It was very effective because it really showed him and the viewers the deleterious effects of being so far down on a ranking of a company like TripAdvisor.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember whose idea it was. I think it was mine or the director's idea to get the pennies. But I remember I needing the pennies immediately. I was like, we need the pennies right now, and we had to go to the bank and get the pennies. Whatever, but it was literally seconds before the scene. It was like, we need a visual, we need pennies, we need something. I need to show him. I think I want to do marbles or I wanted to do rocks, and I think the director said, no, let's get pennies. So then we need it now. Well, let's do the scene. No, we need pennies. So they ran to the bank, got the pennies, and I thought that was really, really effective because when I say you're 277 out of 279. You should know that means that's significant. But when I literally count out, and I think I stopped at 30 or 40. When you have to count out 270, that's how many times you have to scroll down to get to you. And have you ever looked at a hotel online and gone to the third page, let alone the last page?
I haven't even. No.
Maybe the second. I've never really been the second.
Maybe, but only with the caveat of I'm trying to find a hotel that's a little bit closer to where I need to go.
Or getting away from the third-party
Right.
ads
That's
because
right.
most of the hotel websites are on the second.
Right. I do that on Google. Like, if, like, for example, I wanted to look up the Ocean Manor Hotel, and they would be number one with an ad at the top, right? But I'd scroll down and to get to their actual page, you know, their actual link, and then click through. I always avoid the Google
to
ads.
save them.
I figure, you know,
We're not to help
they're
Google.
rich enough.
Oh,
You know?
Google.
Yeah,
I thought it
Google's
was to save the hotel.
No,
money.
it is. I mean, why should they pay?
Actually, you know, it's
the
funny.
fee?
If I don't know, just Google Amazon.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't do the URL or whatever, and I see like a brand name, like a Amazon or Walmart or whatever, like, and I see the ad, I literally will just go to their page because I don't want it. I don't want them to have to spend the money on that ad.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's
like
a
waste of
weird.
time.
It's a weird thing. Like,
Right.
it's a good thing you're saving
We're being
Amazon
kind.
that money.
So,
Okay.
So that scene was, again, I think, proved to the producers and proved to Travel Channel that. Excuse me, Glenn.
One.
Sorry about that, Glenn. In the middle of the conversation,
Sure.
I got a call that said Garden City.
Which is where we're recording at the Garden City Hotel.
So
right
I thought
now.
it was the hotel maybe wanting to tell us something.
Yeah.
And it was just a spam call. So they're getting so advanced that
Yeah.
they can actually see where I am and send me a number so it looks like somebody locally is calling me.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where I just never answer my phone unless I already know who's calling or I'm expecting a call from a specific area code at a specific time. Otherwise, people just have to leave a message and I have to call them back. It's
I
really
heard somebody
pathetic.
screaming the other day at the top of his lungs. I was in the hotel and saying, "Don't ever call me again! Don't ever call me again!" So it was either his wife, ex-wife, or a spam.
Well, if it's this, yeah, I'm pretty sure when you yell at people never to call you again, they're going to call you frequently. All right, so please continue with where you are. We were talking about the pennies and all of that kind of stuff, and
So it was a really effective way to say, you know, let's cut through the crap.
Yeah.
And Travel Channel, I think, realized it's like, okay, every show that he's doing, it was the fourth or fifth show, there's a different take. He's showing a different lesson. He's teaching something. He's using a visual.
Right.
And one of the things I've learned by that time, it was only 4 or 5 shows in, but simple visuals work. Long management company or management exercises don't work. Like if you want to do a, what are the words I'm looking for? A team building exercise. You really can't do it on TV.
Right.
Team building exercises don't work on TV because it takes too long to set it up and for the payoff. But a simple penny exercise worked really well.
and it was, and that's a language that we could all understand.
Right. So, yeah, I thought that was an effective scene. But one of the scenes that I thought was really effective.
Yeah.
There was a general manager that worked for the owner. The general manager was a very nice guy, but he was a yes guy. I've never met a good general manager that was a yes guy. I've met general managers that are like me who just don't take shit from anyone.
Right.
I've met, which is probably not the best general manager, and then there's been general managers who don't take a lot of crap but also are able to be more corporate. And I think that that's the great way to be. This gentleman wasn't either of those things. He was just a complete yes man, and he just wanted to get his check and go home. He was a nice
Right.
guy, a nice family guy. Didn't want to hurt him. And I remember I was about to have a meeting with him about an employee right at the front desk. Remind me, there was a problem. I was going to talk to him. There was something going on at the front desk, and he didn't know how to talk to the young lady.
What the specifics of that was there was one woman and then a guy. The first woman, she had already changed rooms 4 times and was on the 5th room, and another guy next to her was on his 3rd room. So you had 2 people at the front desk complaining about the quality and cleanliness of the rooms, and the GM seemed very confused and flummoxed by the whole thing.
100%. And I remember going to my producer and saying to her, I can't remember her name, because it was the first season. She was only there a couple shows. And I said, I really enjoyed working with her. She was a great lady. And I said, just be prepared, okay, to have the cameras in a way they can see my hands moving. And she's like, why? I said, I'm going to tell you on camera. She goes, no, tell me now. I said, no, I'll show you on camera. She says, please show me now. Because she was nice, I said, okay, I will. I said, he has golf balls in his office. I'm going to take golf ball. I think it was golf balls. I'm going to take the golf balls. I'm going to put them on the table, And do you remember what I did with the golf balls?
Tell us.
You tell me what did I do with the golf balls. Do you remember?
No.
You didn't see that part.
I think that part is
went
when
to sleep?
my wife was yelling at
Yelling?
me about something this morning. It was very hectic trying to get the kids out of the house this morning.
So you missed the golf balls.
Oh, crap. Well, at least I'm here with the host himself to tell me more about the golf balls.
So I take the golf balls. I said I'm going to put them in the drawer. Excuse me. I'm going to put them in the drawer, and I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to say something to him. She goes, "What are you going to say?" I said, "You have to see it." So they call action. He sits down. I said, I took the golf balls out of the drawer, put them on the desk, and I said, "See these? These are your balls. Every time a difficult situation comes in and you have to talk to an employee, you have to talk to tough guys, I want you to go to your desk, take the balls out, and put them on the table and remind you that you have to get a set of balls." The guy loved it. The guy off camera and on camera loved it. Off camera was like, "That taught me everything. You gave me the most valuable lesson." He loved it. My producer was mortified.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't use that. Travel Channel's not going to like it. I said, "We'll leave it in.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, there's an edit button." And they edited it out.
Right.
I think you can say balls on television. And there was apparently a little bit back and forth with the executive producer and the production company about scene stays or scene goes. And eventually the scene stayed. And I think it was one of the most effective scenes because it's not about, do you know how to clean a room? Do you know how to check in a guest or check out a guest? It's about taking the responsibility for the hotel and having a set of balls.
Right.
Once you decide, and if it's a young lady, having a set of whatever you need to be a young lady. So I'm not discriminating. You have to decide if you're going to be in charge and you're going to control the ship or the ship is going to control you. And the balls allows you to say, okay, these are my balls, they're on the table, and I'm in charge.
Right.
Once you do that, even if you make a bad decision, at least you're making a decision. He wasn't making any decisions. He had to run back to the owner all the time. And when people came in, they had to change rooms. He got nervous. I don't know what I should do.
Right.
It's like, once you make a decision, I am going to be in charge. Again, even if you make wrong decisions, you're at least showing some kind of leadership.
Okay, so what was it about the owner of the hotel, who also considered himself the general manager? So there was some problems there. I don't think the actual general manager really had an understanding of what he was and wasn't allowed to do. And I guess the owner set up a culture of fear that made it so this particular general manager was just trying to please everybody and therefore could please nobody, including himself.
Right. So I basically split up responsibilities, and maybe that's when you were rushing your kids out to school, so I don't remember. So I split up responsibilities of the general manager was in charge of X and the owner was in charge of X. And I gave the owner basically what owner should be in charge of and maybe one other thing.
Right.
And I told the general manager, if you want to leave and get another job. If you want to stay, then do your job by one of your jobs. The biggest job as a general manager or as a supervisor is to be a leader.
Right.
And I always say I'm not a leader. People follow me, then I guess they can call me a leader. But I'm a manager. But as a general manager, you got to manage to show that you're going to lead. So when you're managing in such a way that you show complete control. Because really about leadership and management, it's about control. Even if you make mistakes, people don't mind following people they respect if they make a mistake.
Right.
Even if you don't make a mistake and people don't respect you, they don't want to follow you even if they know you're right. Like, I get away with a lot of stuff in my business and when I was general manager simply because people knew my heart was in the right place and I was authentic. Even when I was wrong, they would cover for me. When you're showing weakness and you show a mistake, people are going to destroy you. If you're showing strength and you're showing mistake, people are going to cover for you.
Right.
And I was trying to teach them that.
And you also, to be fair, you admit if you make mistakes from time to time and you let other people be right, which I think has the effect of creating that sense of teamwork.
The greatest power is not the ability to lift weights, not the ability to make a lot of money.
Right.
The greatest power, and I think this is what I've learned so much over my career. It's so important. Saying you're sorry is so powerful because it shows vulnerability. It shows strength and weakness at the same time. Because when you're saying you're sorry, you have to have the strength and vulnerability to admit your mistake, but it's also showing weakness because you'll realize you're vulnerable and that you're sorry and you don't want to hurt people's feelings. So it's showing both at the same time, and it is the greatest way to achieve your loyalty from your employees and the people around you. They just they appreciate it, and it allows them to say they're sorry when they're in a position that they know they're wrong. The worst thing you can do is try to cover up. Have you ever seen someone that was wrong trying to cover up their mistake?
Yeah.
And it was effective? I've never seen it.
No, it just makes them look foolish.
There you go. And I never want to be the joke. I want to be in on the joke.
Right.
I'm the first person to make fun of me, not because I want to make fun of myself, is simply because I don't want to be the joke. I want to be in on the joke.
Yeah. Well, I got some bad news for you, Anthony.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. I'm the first one. My daughter the other day went down the itinerary of all my flaws. Big ears, short, big feet. I look old. I stutter a lot. I have a cross-eyed. I have ugly toes. And I'm really, really short. That was my youngest daughter, all in one thing.
Wow.
As we were just joking around, and she was like, well, Dad, I was like, but those are all true. She goes, yeah. It's like, you're so cruel.
Yeah. I find it weird when people call me old and stuff like that. I'm like, well, compared to you, I am. I don't know. Is that an insult? I don't know. I've been around longer. Who cares?
And you're still only 48.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good episode to show the general manager that showing vulnerability isn't weakness, and showing strength isn't arrogance. And it's taken me 56 years to figure out a really good mixture of both. Of I'm extraordinarily vulnerable, but I will rip your face off. And I think if you're in the right, people respect it, and when you're wrong, people will make fun of you. And they're not going to say it in front of you because you're the boss and you have control over their paycheck.
Right.
But they're going to laugh at you. If you don't get that, like, there's so many people I know. It's like, dude, everybody's making fun of you, man. Everybody thinks you're a weak manager. Like, how do you not see that?
Yeah, it's an interesting blind spot that people have, is that we all seem to have a good ego about ourselves, but don't really have an accurate view of how others see us.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. When I was really young,
right.
I run 100 miles an hour, and when I'm running a hotel, there's so many things going on. So I'm not a big writing things down and writing lists person. I write a little list of them or a long list in the morning real quick, and then during the day, I just go about my business. At the end, maybe I'll look at it so I can bring things to the next day and cross out the things I accomplished. But it's a really quick, informal way of me keeping abreast of things. But during the day, when I tell my department heads to do things or ask them to do things or direct them or agree to do things, I don't write it down, okay? So a lot of people thought because I was running so fast, and from time to time, I may not ask them for something that I know they're responsible for.
Right.
And I didn't forget about it. It's just like I figured they did it. And they didn't do it. And then I realized they didn't do it. And I say, hey, why didn't you do that? Because they thought I was going to forget all the time.
That's a bad attitude.
Right. But they were making fun of me in their head of, oh, just let him talk in a meeting. He's going to forget about it anyway. So really early on in my career, I realized that people were doing that. So without them knowing, I got a little black index box with a little white index cards, and I would put each department director's name on a tab.
Right.
And when they walked out of my office, without them knowing, or after the meeting, I would write it down, and then bring it back to my office, and I would write down, John, 3 pairs of linen, give me update, and I would always suspense it 3 or 4 days later than I was expecting it.
Right.
So about the 4th day, I'm like, hey, how'd that par question? Do you have the answer for me? Oh, yeah, I'll get it to you tomorrow. So I immediately took control back.
Right.
Didn't let anybody see my hand. They started to realize, oh, he runs really fast, but he doesn't forget anything. So if you're going to take advantage of me, it's my job to realize that you're taking advantage of me, my job to realize my weakness of not asking you all the time the follow-up question. So I fixed that. And now I get a kick out of it when I remember something like a month after somebody owes me something. I'll say, hey, where's that thing? And oh, I forgot. And I think that was a really powerful way to have one, to reflect, to say they were right. I would forget things once in a while, but now you're not going to get me again, without making them feel bad and without them letting me know my secret.
And that's the thing that I think,
know my secret.
right? And I think that type of attitude is the type of thing that the Ocean Manor Resort was missing. Everybody knew that they weren't doing a good enough job, but they didn't care because they weren't getting called out on it. For example, the show starts off right away, and it feels funny to be talking about it when I didn't shave this morning. You sure as heck didn't shave this morning. But you roll right up, and you could tell that the valet hadn't shaved that morning. And he just didn't seem to care or wasn't motivated enough and was running late. But the culture of the place allowed him to get away with that.
I completely forgot about that scene, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It was one of the scenes that early on that taught me the most. I go up to the bellman, and he's not shaven. He doesn't really give a shit about me. He's not paying attention. Doesn't know who I am. I really haven't been on TV long.
But you'd think if he saw all the people around you with cameras and boom mics and stuff, he might take notice. Yeah.
And I remember going up to him and saying, "Hey, I have a pet peeve of having people drink soda or anything in front of me. Like, so if you want to drink water or you want to drink something, sure, you have to drink. But wait till the guest turns away,
Absolutely.
and then take some water or take your soda."
I totally get that. Sorry to interrupt, but it's in the same vein. I always think it's weird if I happen to be at a fast food restaurant, that the people that work there are eating in the dining room with the other customers. It just seems strange to me. Anyway, continue.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
And
when I worked at Wendy's, they had a little area in the back room, so we wouldn't have to do that.
Right, and if you don't have an area in the back room, get a little divider that you can buy at Walmart for $50.
Yeah.
And put it up, and they're back there, but you don't have to look at the meat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so go on.
I don't want to see somebody put their hands near their mouth.
That's right.
I just don't.
That's right.
Why I know they're going to serve me in 5 minutes. So I go up to him. He's at the bell stand, and I said, "You really shouldn't drink your soda in front of a guest." You didn't see this, did you? You shouldn't drink your. Did you watch this show?
No, I watched it.
Okay, because there's another scene I know you didn't see because you would have mentioned it already.
Right.
I'll mention it. It was one of my
Maybe
favorite
my
scenes.
note taking is just really bad today.
No, you would remember the scene. So I said...
I got to see. I have a feeling it has to do with the housekeeper, and we can talk about that in a minute.
Then you remember what I'm talking about. But no, this is about when I went up to him and I said, "Hey, you really shouldn't drink your soda in front of a guest." And I'll never forget these words as long as I live. "Well, I shouldn't? Or maybe I shouldn't." I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Well, is it kind of okay or isn't it okay?" I was like...
Is there something? I don't think things are kind of okay. They either are or are not.
He was like, "Well, shouldn't I? I don't know. Am I not allowed to?"
Right. That's incredible. But I don't even understand what that is all about. One. Yeah. I mean, what do you do then in that type of a situation? Because obviously you walk into this, and that's very symbolic of all the problems that you're going to find later on. One of which we'll talk about in just a second.
Well, what I did was I moved my left foot forward, took my right hand, and punched him right in the mouth. No, that's what I wanted to do.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe you knocked him out in one punch.
No, I really wanted to do it, and I just looked at him, and it was one of those moments in your life where, I promised myself I would never get
right.
I'm not a violent guy, so I'm not going to get violent. I'm not going to get violent on TV. And I remember saying to myself, promising myself before this all started, no matter how batshit crazy people get,
right,
just don't get to their level. So I just walked away from him. And then I never got a chance to go back at him later when I calmed down because my director wanted to do something else, and I let him win that fight, and it really upset me because we have no closure on that employee.
No, none. You didn't see that employee again.
No, and it really bothered me.
But you did come back to the valet department later on. And, the general attitude there, one of the folks there voiced it and literally said, it's impossible to please everybody.
Well, yeah, I think there was stuff going on, and I think there was, just different things going on, and I think the owner just didn't want to hold the busboy, the valet parker, responsible.
Right. But I loved your attitude because you're like smile and a great attitude are all you need when it comes to the valet
It
department.
really depends. It really comes down to everything, right?
Yeah, it really does come down to everything because if you have a great attitude and smile, even if you screw up, people are on your side and they're forgiving and they want you to be successful. But
You want to? I want to go
Yeah.
to the moment that, again, I said a lot of the moments changed the show, but this was a great episode to show all the things that go wrong in a hotel when people don't care, and really double down my opinion on we don't need an outline, we don't need a script, I don't need to know anything that's going on in the hotel. Just get me there and let me do my job.
Right.
And I walk into a room, I knock on the door, the housekeeper opens up the door, she's on the phone.
on her own cell phone.
She's got her phone in her ear. She's got her shoulder pushed against her ear, holding the phone, and she has a towel in her hand.
Yep.
The entire crew comes in. She barely looks at us. And do you remember what she did with that towel?
I remembered she was really engaged in a conversation. I don't know if she was paying attention or not, but she literally put her lips on the towel as a move to help her fold it because she couldn't maneuver anything because she was talking on their phone with her head cocked. Again, she put it down on a pile for a guest to use.
And what? Do you see my reaction?
Oh, you were not happy.
I put my hand over my face and I walked out. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's so funny. I actually have a note here, and yes, I actually took notes for this particular episode. I love those moments in the show because now that I've gotten to know you, when you get really frustrated, and you did this move a little bit later in the show, someone else you were frustrated with, where you put your hands out on the table and you kind of dumped your head into your hands, and that's like your ultimate, I can't deal with it anymore. I need to regroup so I don't punch this person in the face move.
That's exactly what it was. So I just look at her, and so she finishes folding the towel. I have my hands over my mouth because I'm in shock.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the camera like, do you believe what I just saw? And then she walks out of the room, and I just give her like a half a wave going, bye. And she walks out of the room. But this is a scene you didn't see.
Right.
Now, the cameras go down, and I'm literally going, not yelling, but just saying, get her to sign the paperwork. Get her to sign the paperwork. Because we can't use that scene unless she signs the paperwork.
Right, totally.
And what we usually do
Right.
is we don't allow people on camera before they sign the paper.
paperwork,
So
which
my
she
producers would say, hey, Anthony's coming down to the housekeeping department or going in the room. He may ask you a question, can you please sign this? And 90% of the time they'll say, no problem. We just opened the door, and there she was. So I'm not going to bring the cameras down for her to sign paperwork.
Right.
So we had this little scene. It wrote itself. And all of a sudden, they run outside, and they say, hey, we need you to sign this paperwork. Is that okay? She's still on the phone. She signs the paperwork. The greatest scene, and she signed the paperwork so we could use it.
That's amazing.
That's how out of it she was, that she didn't
So
care. She saw the cameras. She saw me. She pushed her lips against the towel. She stayed on the phone. She didn't excuse herself. She didn't say, what are you doing here? Why are you in my room? She didn't say any of that. And then we said, we're going to sign paperwork. On the phone, she still signed the paperwork, and that was it. That was the level of supervision over the team.
It's an unbelievable thing to me, and I bet she didn't even know she did that move with a towel on her lips.
She did it 600 times.
Yeah, right.
I went to a doctor's office the other day, and the lady at the reception was a very nice lady. I think it may be the doctor's wife. She licked her fingers 30 times, literally 30 times in about a 10-minute conversation when she was doing the paperwork. And my daughter got in the car, and I go, babe, did you see that? She goes, Dad, she was doing it even when it wasn't necessary.
Oh, gross.
Like, to pull paper or whatever.
Yeah,
she was
right.
just licking her fingers.
Yeah.
Like at the doctor's office where everybody's coming in and they got all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
So people just have habits they don't realize.
Wow.
That was a crazy scene. And so at the end of the day, what I tried to do is get control of this hotel and try to devise a system where they will be able to function together.
I got a feeling that you did a lot of that work off camera because they seemed to be very cohesive at the end, and everyone seemed to be on the plan.
Yeah, we actually had a 3-hour team meeting
Right.
that I ran off camera that we showed bits and pieces of, I think.
Yeah, I could feel it.
Yeah, and I said, we're doing all this work, and no one's going to feel like there's any resolution.
Right.
So there's always work off camera because if I feel like we're not able to get it on camera and the director said, well, we can't get it, I was like, well, they still need it because when I leave, so whether you show it or don't, I got to be real so they don't tell people the report because every time we pull out, the local reporters come in, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 2, whoever, and they do interviews with the owners saying, hey, how'd you like it? I don't want them to ever say, well, Anthony just did it for the cameras.
Right.
I don't think anyone will, outside of 2 or 3 people who I walked away from, would ever say I've done anything for the cameras.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that Woodstock hotel.
Well,
Check back on our old show.
Well, you know
what?
I never. He would. I knew there was the smartest human beings ever lived. I just didn't know it was him.
Right.
And when you were dealing with the smartest human being ever lived, and you're such an inferior human,
I know,
you just walk away.
Well, what are you going to do, Anthony? At least you know your place, right? So the end result is it's now 7 years later. I don't know for sure if it's the same owner or not at the property, but out of 2,646 reviews now for the Ocean Manor Beach Resort Hotel, they're now squarely at 4 stars, which you at the beginning of the episode says is average for is normal for TripAdvisor. And they're number 31 in the market as of this morning when we're recording the show.
So they made changes.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's the same owner or not. I haven't followed up on him because he may believe he liked me, but he didn't really like me.
Right.
And so he never ever reached out to me. And he was like, oh, buddy,
right.
Tokyo Blue. I have my sound guy and good friend of mine, Enrique.
Yeah.
He always, every time I see him, he always reminds me of that show because there was a sushi restaurant that he opened. The owner opened in a hotel called Tokyo Blue.
Right.
So I guess he had a little bit of a New York accent in the owner, and so Enrique would go, Anthony, good to see you, Tokyo Blue. So I always remember that. So I don't know if we got control of it. I don't know if we were the reason the hotel got turned around. I don't believe it was us. Honestly, I would like to say that I came in 4 days and the guy listened to me because a lot of people do, and they do turn around the hotels. I would imagine either it's sold or they got a management company in there. But I don't believe that in the 4 days I was there that he listened to me enough because there was too much fighting and too much emotion for me to really get down and dirty for my job. Yeah. I mean, people were room changing every 5 seconds. I was kind of helping them room change. It was crazy. But one of my favorite episodes, and you can go on YouTube and just Google, put Anthony Melchiorri, Dennis Rodman.
Yep.
Just put my name and Dennis Rodman together, and you will get a clip of me and Dennis Rodman. And you will see on YouTube the clip of me and Dennis Rodman shaking hands and talking. I get not a call, but my producer said, hey, the owner's friend is Dennis Rodman. And Dennis Rodman's in the hotel, and Dennis Rodman, as we know, likes to party, and the owner had some really nice suites overlooking the ocean, penthouse suites, that Dennis Rodman used to do his parties in. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So Dennis Rodman, who it seemed that he was not drinking water, I was told that he wanted to talk to me. I said, I don't want to talk to Dennis Rodman. I don't care. Like, I love Dennis Rodman as a basketball player. At the time they were thinking about putting him in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame now. I was like, I respect him as an NBA player, but I don't want to talk to him. I know he has some alcohol problems. I'm not interested. So it would be really important and it would be a good scene. I was like, okay, I'll talk to him. So my director says to me, Dennis wants to saw at one corner of the lobby, and you saw at the other corner. And then when you see each other,
like
in
you're
the
bumping
middle,
into each other,
you shake each other's hands. I was like, I don't want to do that because it's not real. They're like, it's not a big deal. It's just to get you guys. You're not going to talk to him before you give him. Okay, so we do it. They go action. I meet him in the middle of the lobby, and as soon as I saw him, he's a really big man.
Well, yeah, being that he's a basketball player, and as your daughter has pointed out, you're not that tall.
he said. Thanks for mentioning it. And I said, wow, Dennis Rodman. And in his half a stupor, he says, wow, Dennis Rodman. And he takes his hand, and I have a really large hand for a small guy. He takes his hand that's about 3 times the size of mine, hits me in the chest, and goes, do it again. And he was half drunk. So I was like,
Aye.
He hit me in the chest as hard as anyone's ever hit me. Now, I always stand like a boxer because I was a boxer when I was a kid. And I'm never looking for a street fight, but I'm always ready for one. So I was standing square. So when he hit me, I didn't move, but my entire body broke.
Oh,
my entire body internally, I felt like every bone in my body broke.
God.
And I remember shaking, and I flipped out.
Oh, God.
Lost my mind.
Really?
Lost my mind. There's a clip somewhere in
I
Atlas.
gotta see that clip.
F this, F that, who the F that. Now, he's walked away
Really?
already. He's walking the other side. And I'm literally jumping up and down. He put his hands on me. I'm going to put my hands on him. Now I'm going to think I'm going to beat the shit out of that. And I really thought I could knock him out.
Right.
So I'm like, so they calm me down. I'm jumping up and down and screaming and yelling. Finally, they calm me down. And they'll come out, we'll do it again. I go, I'm not going near that guy. If I go near that guy, I might punch him in the face. They'll say, we'll get you a ladder later and you can punch him in the face. I was like, you can't just do it. I said, I don't want to do it. So it took me about 20 minutes to calm down. And I do the scene. The scene you see on YouTube is after I wanted to punch Dennis Rodman in the face.
Well, it seemed very straightforward and nice. So good job acting.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, at that point, I was calm already. I was like, the guy's drunk. The guy's got a problem, apparently, allegedly. I'm not, he didn't mean it. He didn't, like, hit me, like, in a vicious way, like, I'm going to hit you. He's Dennis Rodman.
Right.
And he's 75 feet tall with a big hand the size of an apartment building. So anybody else that's a gentle, hey, man, just do it again. With Dennis Rodman, who's in a half a bag. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, half in the bag.
Yeah, half in the bag. He's half in the bag. He didn't realize that he's just literally Mike Tyson me.
Wow. I got to tell you, Anthony, I love doing these Hotel Impossible focus shows because we really get some great stories from you and all of the stuff that happened behind the scenes.
It's always better behind the scenes.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, to all of you folks out there listening, if there's a particular episode you would like to hear us discuss, drop us a note and let us know. And, of course, you know how to find us by now. He's Anthony Hotels, and I'm at Traveling Glenn online. And you could always just find us on Facebook and LinkedIn, blah, 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 and send us a note on there.
Is there any other scene in that show that you wanted to mention?
Yes, there is one moment that I did want to mention where it's funny that you talked about figuring out your wardrobe and stuff like that, because I always see you as the guy in the suit all of the time. And there's this one moment where you're like, I'm going to take off my jacket. And you take off your jacket and you immediately find some mold and you're like, nah, I'm not taking off my jacket.
Because I was going to put it, there was mold on the couch.
Yes, I know. And knowing you, I thought that moment in particular was super, super funny.
Yeah, I was taking my jacket off because I was sweating because the air conditioner wasn't working well. And I was like, I'm going to take my jacket off, and I was going to fold it over a chair, and then I saw there was, or a couch, and I saw there was mold on it, and I go, I'm not taking my jacket off. I remember being, like, there's a few hotels, one in Puerto Rico, not the one in the Rincon, the one that's on the other side of the island, I can't remember the name of it, where I literally came home with cockroaches in my suitcase.
Oh, gosh.
And that one skeeved me out, and then the one we're talking about skeeved me out. Like, everything was just dirty and dusty and stained.
Yeah, when you ran your finger over the top of the picture frame, you were like, oh my God, there's so much dust that's coming up above my finger.
Yeah, and that's when I realized that dust could, like, kind of almost like stand up by itself. It was gross. And so that was a pretty funny moment.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of great stuff in this particular episode, and I really enjoyed it. But any other advice that you would give people that are maybe working in a situation with an owner that is not really focused, doesn't really seem to care? How do you keep motivated?
What are you afraid of, right? So I ask myself, what am I afraid of? Why am I not taking control? Why am I allowing this person to take control of me? Why am I not doing my job effectively? Why do I come to work every morning and I feel sick to my stomach? Why do my employees not like me? Why do my guests hate me? The owner's controlling me. What am I afraid of? You have to identify what's holding you back and what you're afraid of. Once you do that, you don't have to be like me and all of a sudden just turn on a dime and say, I'm going to control the situation. You can take baby steps. And what I try to show the general manager with the owner is take baby steps towards working together. And I said, if the general manager is running the housekeeping department, you're not allowed to talk to his staff. You're not allowed to go in, even though you're the owner. It's not your staff. It's his staff. You're not allowed to go and ask a housekeeper, why are you folding a towel with your lips? You're allowed to go to the general manager and say, dude, your housekeepers are folding towels with lips and they're on their cell phone.
Right.
That you're allowed to do. That's giving him the control to do his job. If you're going to talk to his employees, you're taking the strength out of his hands, and he'll never be able to be a strong leader in front of his employees. So I gave them the tools. But the first thing you got to do is ask yourself, what are you afraid of?
Right. Yeah. I mean, what are you afraid of? I mean, maybe you are afraid of losing your job, but that shouldn't really be an excuse for you doing better when nobody's looking.
Well, again, then you have to do one of two things. How can I improve this relationship because I don't want to lose my job, but also get my balls back?
Right.
Or I should say, how many weeks or months do I have here to have the ability to save money and to be able to maybe take 6 months or a year to find a new job?
Right.
Will that take me a couple of years to save it? Will I be able to do that in 6 months? Will I be able to look while I'm still working and jump ship before? But make a decision. One of the things that hold most people back, and I know holds me back, is I feel like somebody else has got the decision in their hands. When almost all the time, I'm working on a business right now, and it's going slower than I anticipated, and I'm feeling like my partner has the control in their hands and my partners, and it's really not the case. It's like we're all in control, but I have to take the lead because my name's on the company.
Right.
And so I'm literally having that conversation with myself. So no matter how much success you have in business or lack of success, or how well you think you know yourself and you're trying to self-evaluate every day, you can always improve. And I caught myself the other day. I was driving up to New Jersey, and I was having this conversation with myself, and I was like, dude, what are you waiting for? Yes, you're going slow and you're methodical. That's great, but what are you waiting for? Why are you waiting for them to do this, that, and the other thing when you should be making the move? So all of us have got to ask ourselves, what are we afraid of? And once you understand that, you can either make a quick move or you can make a slow move. Maybe you got to go see a psychiatrist, a business coach. Maybe you got to talk to a friend. Maybe you just need a vacation. But once you identify it, you can go in your speed to fix it. And I think a lot of people will maybe identify a problem with themselves and want to immediately fix it. Well, no, that problem's been there forever. It may take you a long time to fix it. And I was trying to tell the general manager, go slow. Baby steps. The next time he talks to an employee that belongs to you and not to him, or reports to you and not to him, go up to him and say, just curious. I know we had a conversation about this. Why did you need to talk to that person? Couldn't it wait a few minutes? Now, I wouldn't talk that way, but this person talks that way. But have that conversation. I'd be like, dude, hands off. Don't talk to my employees. Or this is bullshit. That's how I would talk.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody. So you don't have to be somebody else, but you have to do your job.
Right.
And your job is to take control of your environment.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really great point. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up this whole episode about the experiences that you felt, what the staff was going through, and then how if you're in that particular situation, you could better yourself no matter what. So, Anthony, I think it's time for me to ask you to tell me something I don't know.
I hate to tell you, but you know what it's going to be, right?
What is it?
What am I going to tell you?
Something poker related?
Poker related.
Yeah.
So the other day,
I think we should do a whole episode on Anthony's poker tips.
Yeah, you should. That would be fun.
Yeah.
So I realized that Borgata in Atlantic City had the summer poker open going on, and I was like, okay, what day do I have nothing but conference calls in the morning? And so I look at my calendar, and there was one day where I had conference calls from 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock. And then I had one call that I could move to the next day. So, that'd be perfect. I can drive all the way up to Jersey, get all my business taken care of, move one meeting, and spend basically the rest of the day and night playing in the poker tournament, which I did. And there were 250 people. There's a 3-day tournament, which means you have to win the first day to go to the second day. The top 50 people move on, and I got to the second day.
Nice.
And the second day is tomorrow.
Hey,
so I moved my entire day tomorrow
to
go play in the poker tournament. If I move on to the third day, that would be Saturday. So hopefully I will have a good story for you next time.
Well, congratulations on making it this far so far. I love that you are excelling at your hobby.
And do you know why? It's finally I have a hobby that's not skiing or racing cars.
Yeah.
A lot safer. And I don't have a lot of money. The rest was $200 or $300 buy-in, so it's not.
That's hardly anything.
So
For serious poker players.
I just don't want people to think that I'm a gambler because I'm not, and I've said that before.
Right.
But
I want you to know we placed a bet whether or not he would actually talk about this before the show. But you didn't take that for what you want. Just kidding.
True. But it's funny because I pay for 12 hours. I pay attention, really close attention to everything that's going on. And there was one gentleman that was drinking a lot of beer, and he was getting pretty loose. And I went in on him on a pair of fives. There was 2 4s on the board, so I had 4s and 5s. But I didn't think I had the best hand. I shouldn't have had the best hand. I moved all in just to bluff him off the hand that I had a higher hand than I did, and because I think there was an ace on the board. And so he calls me all in. So I'm like, oh, shit, he has the ace.
Right.
I'm done. My tournament's over.
Yeah.
My pair of 5s beat him. I was like, this guy, like, I targeted him perfectly because he was obviously getting drunk, and like he made. Like, how do you? Anyway, it was the worst call I've ever seen in poker.
Yep.
And I beat him, and I actually chipped up a lot, and I got back to the second day.
You see, booze and poker do not mix.
Actually, what I do, and I may have said this before, is if I get there at 12 o'clock, I make sure I'm well fed. I feel like I have a lot of energy. I wait about an hour or two. I have a double scotch, a double Johnny Walker Black, loosens me up a little bit, and then I stop drinking, and all I drink is water.
Great.
So the scotch gets me to loosen up because I start getting in my head and I start feeling stressed. It loosens me up for just a good hour, gets me calm, and then the time I'm kind of calm, I'm okay. I'm squared up on the table, and I got a read on what's going on, and I feel in control. And then I don't take another ounce of alcohol after that.
Beautiful. I love it.
So, young soldier,
Yes.
tell me something we don't know.
All right, so I will keep it with the casino theme since you're
Okay.
mentioning poker. I love casinos. I love being at casinos, and the reason why is because I'm pretty confident I'm going to be able to get a good Asian noodle soup at a casino. And I love that there's always a great Asian place to go eat.
And why is there a great Asian place at the casinos for people that don't know?
Because there's a lot of Asians that love to play in casinos. Culturally speaking, the Chinese in particular really find that as an important aspect of their overall existence.
What?
Yeah.
Which city spends more money on gambling, Macau or Vegas?
Macau by a factor of 10.
Isn't that
this
crazy?
point. I remember when let's give the audience a little history on Macau gambling. Right, originally a Portuguese colony stolen from the Chinese back in the 1800s. It was given back to them in the late 1990s, around the same time Hong Kong was returned to China by the British. So
And they're still under the Portuguese Constitution.
Right.
Did you know that?
So just like Hong Kong, they're kind of a separate zone from the rest of China, even though they're under Chinese authority ultimately. So what's interesting about that is there was a dude named Stanley Ho that had a gambling contract there, and he owned the whole city and et cetera, with gambling. And at some point, they decided to open it up a little bit more and started giving out licenses to companies like...
And we're talking about Macau, China.
Macau in particular. They started giving out a handful of licenses to companies like Wynn, to Las Vegas Sands, which owns the Venetian here in the United States, companies like that. And they loosened the visa laws to allow more Chinese mainland citizens to go visit there. So billions and billions and billions were invested to build these insane things. They built up a Las Vegas type environment in 3 to 5 years as opposed to over decades.
Vegas on steroids.
Yeah, and very quickly it went from being a ripple to half of Vegas to all of Vegas to now 10 times as much as Vegas in income, and it's absolutely unbelievable.
Right. What I find fascinating about that entire story is that they're still under the Constitution of Portugal for another, I think, 10 years or something.
Like that, yeah.
They use Portuguese money, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's real fascinating.
I think you could use both Chinese money and Portuguese money, like any smart casino.
But
would
imagine
do.
seeing a Chinese guy speaking Portuguese.
Yeah, right.
That'd blow my mind, right? Like going to Hong Kong and seeing them speak the same language, that makes sense. But going to Macau and seeing them speak Portuguese, you'd be like, am I drinking milk or water? What's going on here?
I'm hoping for my 50th birthday in about a year and a half, I'm going to get over to Hong Kong and Macau and check it out. I've been dying to see Macau.
Okay, so let's make a deal.
Yeah?
If you and I are still doing this podcast, which we will be, there's no doubt in my mind, we will do your 50th birthday from Macau.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I've got a number of friends that we want to go. Let's all just let's do it.
I got invited to, I don't know if it was through you, but from a young lady that was opening a hotel. Her last name, actually, the name of the company is MEL. I remember because
Melco.
What's that?
Melco?
Yeah, Melco.
Yeah.
The young lady who invited me. Was it through you?
I don't think so.
What's her name?
I'm not sure because I didn't.
The young lady. You don't know who I'm talking about?
No.
She's like the senior vice
Although
president.
that's more my fault because you can't describe someone better than that.
She invited me to one of their hotel openings in Macau, but she asked me like 2 weeks before, and I'm like, I can't go to Macau in 2 weeks. So I didn't go. But I'll find her information. We'll reach out to her, and then we'll go for your 50th birthday.
Yeah, hey.
Well, how about that? Let's move your 50th birthday up a little bit and go now.
Let's go this year.
Yeah, and we'll celebrate your 50th birthday.
Yeah, man, I would totally be into that. I got to see that place. And it's incredible. If any of you have been to the Venetian Las Vegas, for example, and I say this specifically because there's a Venetian resort in Macau, you take a look at the casino floor. Forget that. Multiply it by like 5, and they've got like these massive like warehouse type things where the Asian gamblers all just sit around the tables, and they don't even get up. They just sit there, and they get meals brought to them there, and they sit there for 24 hours, and then they go home.
Yeah, they put at the poker table. Some people, because I sat there the other day for 12 hours, but I eat. Every 2-3 hours, they give you a 15-minute break. So I use the men's room, I drink a bottle of water, and then I either have a protein bar or I take a little salad real quick and I eat the salad. But some people have meals come to the table, which just so you know, if you ever see me at the poker table, please don't eat your dinner or lunch next to me. Like, you're touching your mouth, you're touching the cards. And somebody said it the other day online somewhere. It said, I don't want your poker juice or your chip juice anywhere near me.
Your fruit juice on my chips.
Right. No. Well, first of all, this chip juice, right? Because everybody's sneezing and coughing and whatever. So you never touch your hand to your mouth at a poker table because you're touching somebody else's chips, which it's disgusting. And then you're eating, and then you're touching the chips, and now I'm touching your chips. It's like it's just too much. It's too much chip juice.
No, I like people to keep it classy. You know, just put your lips up against a towel, fold it, and put it away.
Right. Well, it's like it's funny, but it's like first class. Come on, you don't eat in first class. You don't. You don't bring a Big Mac to first class. It's just the rule. It's the unwritten rule. I don't mean to be uppity or anything, but like I don't eat when I'm in coach. But you definitely don't eat in first class. They give you food.
Yeah.
Free food.
Right.
They're actually not free. You pay for it. But in coach, I can see it a little bit. But, okay, if you're going to eat in coach, make sure it's not stinky food.
Oh.
Like, why would you eat stinky food on a plane? What's
dude,
wrong with you?
I hate when the dude brings the stinky food onto the subway in August.
No, you know what? That is just, there's some things that get me. It's disrespectful. It's stupid. And, like, you don't give a shit about people. It's like I'm sitting next to you, and you're bringing a stinky sandwich of salami, mustard, and jalapeno, but whatever you're bringing, I don't want to smell that.
Right.
Like, it is literally, I'd rather a crying baby take a dump, okay, and smell that than smell your stinky food. At least I know what I'm smelling.
Right. Very true. Yeah. All right. So, okay. I think it's a great.
I'm sorry.
No,
I need a Snickers bar.
Yeah, you really do. I want you to turn like into Betty White real quick from whatever this is over here. So I want to thank you guys for listening. Anthony, how can we find you?
Anywhere you want to be on the internet, at Anthony Hotels or at a Brigada poker table.
Yeah, and I am Traveling Glenn online. Be sure you like us on our Facebook page and check out my other show, No Vacancy, with me, Glenn Haussman, and all of the stuff on the NoVacancyNews.com channel, including all of the back episodes of Hotel Impossible. No, this is not Hotel Impossible. This is Checking In with Anthony and Glenn. I got too far into the Hotel Impossible mood today. Listen to our shows. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and whatever you get your podcast. See you all next time, and thanks for checking in.
It's Checking In with Anthony and Glenn, teaching you to be the hotelier that you wanna be. It's Checking In with Anthony and Glenn.